What's up, all? Marshall. This is the fourth one. I believe it's going to be the final one. I don't know. If y'all like it, let me know, and I'll keep on keeping on and keep going with regards to doing the mixing. Now, for this particular video, I wanted to just continue on with a little bit more mixing. Now, if you remember when we did the initial heavy guitar patch, and if you haven't, please check that one out. It's heavy guitar tutorial or something to that extent in Reason 6. But when we did that, we had completely taken out most of the low and filtered out most of the low end, if you will, just to get it nice and tight, along with using the Scream 4. Now, in this particular case, I may or may not do some compression. It's a matter of taste. You can do it. It depends on how unruly, if you will, your guitars happen to be when you're going through everything. So, what I tend to do if I do that first thing is, if you're just getting started, or if you just want a little tip on doing anything, is just basically roll the high pass. And I like to keep it a little bit chunky. I'll do it right about, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 60 hertz, depending, just to roll it off. And I like, well, the only reason why I do it that way is I mixed a song at one point where I actually cut it off at about, I don't know, 150, and I couldn't understand why everything was so damn thin sounding. Anyway, that's what happened. So, anyway, but in this case, I think the guitars sound pretty decent, pretty fairly, whatever. You know, again, personal taste. So I like to work with the bass and the drums just to give each one a little bit more space, and just so you can hear everything. Oh yeah, back to when we did the groups. It's, if you just take off that one solo, it shouldn't hear anything, which is kind of cool. Anyway, back to mixing and levels and everything. With the bass, I like to give it a little bit of compression, not much, just enough so you're actually hearing it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me get that one off. So yeah, I know the bass is kind of cheesy, but I was just doing it quick. So what I'll kind of do is get the ratio where I want it, a soft ratio, and what that ratio basically stands for is it's how many decibels reduction for how many decibels over your threshold. So in this case, I will a little heavier compression, not much, I mean like a 4-to-1. And then the release time, if I remember correctly, it's the quicker it releases, the more powerful it might seem. The more it seems it does things very fast. Anyway, so what I'll do is just lower the threshold just so it barely kisses it. And of course, you can squash the ever-living bejesus out of it and make it a so basically you can't hear a darn thing and it just becomes a limiter. But I'm not in the mood to do that today. And then you don't have that breathing, pumping crap. But yeah, you get about just maybe 1 or 2. And when you mix that in with the drums, and where that is, I think I'm going to also take a little high pass and take off just a little bit of the low end for the drums. Take that about 35 or so, and then because, well, let me go with 40, 45, and there is 30. Most of the low end just ends up muddying up everything, so when you have too much low end, this way it clears it up, and it's quite surprising how much it clears everything up without actually taking it away. So in the car stereos, when you're listening to that heavy bass, if you ever have a problem when you're listening to your own stuff in the car, I know I do have that issue because it's just a very confined space. When you roll off just a little bit at the lowest possible end, it will actually clean up your mix quite considerably. So even if you do take anything, if you want to take anything away from this, try to cut it off right there at about that 30 to 40. And not a rule of thumb, you could do 20, you could do 25, it doesn't matter to me. But, just a little bit to get that sub bass frequency out of there. Now, it'll still show up if you're one of those cats that have the 18s in the back of the truck. I guess I might be dating myself, but way back when we had one store that carried 18s. It's very, very fun, 18-inch subs, that is. Quite amusing. That was too loud for me. Or, no, well, it wasn't too loud. It was too much bass for me. Anyway, but there we go. Now, I haven't treated the drums at all. In this case, I'm just going to leave it alone. So let me go ahead, back that down, listen to it with some guitars here. Alright, hope you all enjoyed it or had fun with it, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, State of the Union address, perhaps, I don't know, if you have anything to add, share, please, by all means, go ahead, put it down below in the comments section. Other than that, you all have a fantastic day or night, depending on where you are and depending on when you're seeing this. But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy.